In the early 90s, one of the most popular shows on television was a sitcom about a family of friendly dinosaurs.
Honey, I'm home.
They would have family dinners, tell bad dad jokes, and the baby would scream at the dad and say, "Not the mama." It became one of the biggest catchphrases of the decade. I had the toy, you'd pull the string, he'd yell at you, and that was peak entertainment. Then, in 1994, the show ended in tragedy. Ending a kids' show in this way was not the norm at that time, and it ended because a company kept trying to fix problems it had created, and every fix made things worse. The more I looked into that ending, the more I realized it wasn't really about dinosaurs. It was about one of the oldest habits in human psychology: why we keep repeating catastrophes, even after we already know what's causing them. For 4 seasons, Dinosaurs looked harmless. It came from the Jim Henson Company, the same people behind Sesame Street, so parents trusted it without thinking twice. The final episode starts simple. Every year, a swarm of insects called the bunch beetles eat a fast-growing plant called the cider poppy, keeping it under control. It's just nature doing its job. This year, the beetles never arrive. A company called We Say So built a wax fruit factory right on top of the beetles' breeding ground and wiped out the species. Without the beetles, the poppies spread across the entire city. You heard that right. They killed off the bunch beetles, disturbed nature's natural process for fake fruit. It's almost a documentary. And then they try to fix this issue they caused, and it just makes things worse. We Say So spray the poppies with poison. It works. It also kills every other plant on Earth, which is an even bigger problem. If all the plants died on Earth, there would be mass starvation. And now that's the issue the dinosaurs face. So what do they do now? Well, their next fix is even better. They detonate bombs inside volcanoes to create artificial rain clouds. Instead, the ash blocks out the sun, temperatures collapse, and within 20 minutes of screen time, a goofy family sitcom becomes an extinction event. What's fascinating is this series of events reflects real life. Psychologists call this pattern escalation of commitment. Once we've invested time, money, or pride into a decision, admitting we were wrong becomes painful. So instead of changing course, we double down. Companies do it, governments do it, families do it. We keep solving yesterday's mistake with the exact same thinking that created it. We Say So isn't just the villain of this story, it's a mirror. The CEO, Bradley P. Richfield, barely reacts when someone tells him the world might be ending.
The world may be coming to an end. Well, that's a fourth quarter problem.
He calls it a fourth quarter problem. As the planet freezes, his company starts selling heaters, blankets, and hot cocoa mix.
Dinosaurs are flocking to stores buying We Say So heaters, We Say So blankets, and We Say So old-fashioned hot cocoa mix.
And he proudly calls it the best quarter in company history. Sadly, even in real life, we see companies causing problems, then selling you the solution. And that part of the storyline is not a coincidence. The writers were leaving clues everywhere. Richfield isn't a random villain name. It combines 2 real oil companies, BP and Atlantic Richfield. Earl's coworker, Roy Hess, is named after the Hess Corporation. Earl's mother-in-law, Ethel Phillips, points to the leaded gasoline additive ethyl, and to Phillips Petroleum. Even the Sinclair family name traces back to Sinclair Oil, famous for using a dinosaur as its logo. This wasn't random satire. It was aimed. And it wasn't just aimed at the villain. The family you're rooting for is named after an oil company, too. Nobody in this story gets to be the innocent bystander. One more thing, and this part is just my own observation, not a confirmed fact. We Say So's logo is a red oval with white lettering. DuPont's logo is a white oval with red lettering. I can't prove that one was intentional, but once you know how deliberate everything else here is, it's hard to unsee. Now the question is, how did a network let a kids' show sneak in a message this dark? Partly because humor lowers our defenses. It's been found that people argue back against a lecture, but they don't argue back against a joke. Humor gets processed differently, and it slips past our guard before we've realized we've been criticized. Most viewers laughed first. They connected the dots later, if they connected them at all. For most of the episode, the disaster is huge and abstract, an entire planet freezing over. The writers don't end it there. They end it on a father trying to explain to his baby why there's no future left. Baby Sinclair asks the question every kid watching was probably thinking, can't we just move somewhere else? Earl tells him no. This is the only world they have. Baby asks what's going to happen to them. Earl says he doesn't know, but dinosaurs have survived for 150 million years, so maybe everything will be okay.
Dinosaurs have been on this earth for 150 million years. And it's not like we're going to just disappear.
Sadly, the audience knows something Earl doesn't. The dinosaurs aren't surviving this. That gap between what the audience knows and what Earl believes is what makes the ending unforgettable. Here's where this connects to the real world and makes this more like a documentary than ever before. In 2023, it was found that ExxonMobil predicted global warming with real accuracy. Between 63 and 83% of Exxon's own predictions matched what actually happened. The company knew, and it spent years publicly casting doubt on climate science anyway. Exxon has denied any wrongdoing in a court case in 2019, didn't find the company guilty of fraud. This is one of those moments where legality and morality cross paths. Because maybe it wasn't illegal to ignore the warning signs, but it was surely immoral. They clearly understood the risk and did not change their behavior. And this is a pattern as old as time. Same with smoking, leaded gasoline, asbestos, financial bubbles. The warning signs almost always show up long before the catastrophe. Knowing better rarely changes what happens next. That's what this finale was actually about. It isn't really about climate change, and it isn't really about oil companies. It's about something older than both. People rarely destroy things because they don't know better. More often, they destroy things while convincing themselves the next decision will fix the last one. That's why We Say So kept making it worse. That's why Earl still believed it would somehow work out. And that's why this finale still feels so heavy 30 years later. Because when we watch those dinosaurs repeat mistakes after mistake, we see the same behavior in ourselves. What do you think? Is this the most honest ending a kids' show has ever had? Let me know in the comments. And if you liked this one, there are a lot more stories that almost worked.
Good night. Goodbye.